Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Donovan the Smartphone Guy here to do a video review of the Kindle Fire HD8. Now, I picked these up on just before Black Friday, and I did that because I wanted to give something for my kids to play with as tablets. I previously had an iPad Air 2 and got rid of it in order to get three actual Fire HD8s. So I want to talk about what's good, what's not so great about this app, about this tablet, and talk about whether it's good for you or maybe good for your kids if you have kids, and who I think this is right for and who it might not be for. So first of all, I did pick up the 16 gig version. It's the HD8, so of course that means it's an 8-inch screen. They do have a 7-inch screen, and I did pick up the one that has the ad-supported version. So this was just right around a little over $50. For the ad-supported version, you could, I think, pay $80 for the non-ad-supported version. So you get rid of those lock screen ads, which really aren't a big deal. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. So here it goes over some of the specs, so I want to talk about those for just a second. So we have a 1280 by 800 pixel screen there, and so that's right around 720p, just a little bit better than 720p. So if you're used to a screen that's 1080p or even the 2K displays that you get on some of the flagship phones, this display will not seem all that great. But if it's for your kids, personally, for me, for Netflix and things like that, it's just fine. But it's definitely not the highest HD screen. But for $50, you probably shouldn't expect that. It does have a nice quad core processor, which in my experience so far has been pretty fluid. There are some hiccups in that. It's not a perfect processor, but it does the job and it works well with games. My kids have been playing a lot of games on it and it's working just fine for that. So it does have 16 gigs of onboard storage. You can also expand that with 200 gigs in the micro SD card slot. We have, of course, Wi-Fi, front and rear cameras, and I'm going to go ahead and say this right off the bat: the cameras are not good. So you don't want to buy this to use for the cameras, because the front and the rear facing cameras are very grainy, whether it's low light or good lighting. They're just not good. So don't use the cameras flat out. They're just not good. If it's for your kids, who cares? But and then here we got the Dolby audio as well. So we'll talk more about those specs in just a little bit as we get into this. So let's talk about, let's turn this off here for a second. I want to look around the actual tablet. So we have our bottom firing speakers, or our top firing speakers, depending on, of course, the orientation. The speaker quality is quite good, and because of that dual speaker system, it's not bad at all. It can get quite loud. So over here we got our 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. We have a volume rocker, a microphone, and that works with Alexa, of course. And here we have our micro USB for charging. It does come with a 1 amp charger, so I want to mention this because the battery in this is quite large. You'll want to charge it overnight because it takes forever at 1 amp power to charge this thing. And then we have our 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. And the build quality, very plasticky, certainly not the highest quality build, but again, it's around $50-$60, so truthfully, who cares? That's just my opinion. So jumping in here, so I'm going to take a look at the actual, let's try that again. Okay. So this is the typical screen you're going to get when you first get into this. I've adjusted some things around here because of how I use it for my kids. So you can see right now that it's on my profile, but I can adjust the profiles, and I'll show you that in just a little bit. So these are just some of the apps it comes with. So you have some video apps. I throw in some in there that I got for my kids. The Amazon Free Time is the part that I really like for the kids. We have a bunch of Amazon suite of apps there. And of course, we have Amazon Alexa. And I want to go into, we have some productivity apps as well. And then I want to go into the settings to show you some of the things that are available here and why I think it's such a good tablet for kids. So let's see here. Let's go down here, and the important part here is the profiles and family library. So let's talk about that for a second. So you can see I have 3 profiles set up. So I have mine, and then I have my 2 kids. So let's go into Braden's here. And in here you can see that I have all kinds of filters that I can set up. I can So let's take a look at that. So I can set up what kinds of content he's able to look at. So he's a 5-year-old, and so I set the content level up to age 6. Honestly, I could probably adjust that to closer to 8, but it works where it's at. So that's been fine. I can add content. So if there's certain books or videos or apps that I want him to have that aren't fitting into that level, I can go ahead and throw those in there. And so that's available as well. And then I can remove certain content. So if there's certain content that I don't want, I can remove that as well. So that's nice. I can also, so I should mention this. So there's that free time unlimited here. So right now I'm on the free trial. You get 1 month of free time. And then after that, if you want to have your kids have that access, I think it's $3 per month for one kid, or you can pay, I think it's $5 or $6. I'd have to look back at that, to get unlimited access for your entire family, and that's up to 4 kids. So I'm going to go ahead and pay for that personally, because I think it's worth it. Now that I've been using or let my kids use it, I definitely think it's worth that money, because there's a ton of apps that otherwise you'd have to pay for that you get for free in the free time unlimited app. So that's kind of nice. So I can enable the browser or disable it. I can enable the camera or disable it. Again, it's not a very good camera anyways. And then I can add in some kids if I want to. I can just decide what's showing up on their lock screen, and that's about it. So that's really nice. So there's the profiles that I can adjust, and then I have some parental controls as well. Whoops, I went into the security there. So here's the parental controls, and there you go. I can set a password for them to get into certain things. So that's nice as well. So this is the profiles that are already set up. I'm going to go ahead and jump into Braden's profile just so you can see what free time looks like. So this is what the app is going to look like. So it has this little carousel here. Right now, I believe it's probably set up on books. Okay, so here's the books. And so it looks like the most recent things that he's looked at have been books anyways. So then all of these normally are books that you would pay for, but under free time, they're all ones that you get for free. So that's fantastic. So just, I mean, a huge amount of books. It's taking a little while to load because right now I'm quite a ways away from my Wi-Fi reception. So, but these are books that you normally pay for that otherwise, if you're paying for the free time app, they are free. And then we can go to videos. So again, these are videos that otherwise you'd probably have to pay for, unless of course you're a Prime customer. Then some of these would be free as well. Anyways, but then it just gives them content that you want them to see. Obviously, it's not going to give them any content that might be age inappropriate. So anytime my son jumps onto this tablet, it's automatically going to jump into the free time app and only give him the content that is age appropriate, which is fantastic. And then we have some apps, and again, only going to give him content that I'm allowing him to get, or stuff that's age appropriate. So of course it has Netflix. I've adjusted my Netflix content for him so that he can only see what I want him to see, which is fantastic again. So that's just one awesome thing about this tablet, is that I can really control what my kids can and cannot see, which, there's some good and some bad about that, but it's really nice as a parent, so you don't have to worry about them going on to something that, you probably wouldn't want them to be on. And then we can go into characters, so if there's like certain characters that they're into, they can go in and take a look at those as well. Again, a ton of free content that otherwise you would pay for if you didn't have that free time. So that's the kid part of it. And so for them to get out of it, they have to go to this exit profile. And now it's going to ask you which profile to go into. So I'll go ahead and select mine and get out of this. So now I've selected mine. Again, for him to get in there, he would then have to put in my password, which he doesn't know. But if he's in his own profile, there's never a password required because, again, it's only giving him the content I want him to see, which is great. So let's go ahead and look at, this is the standard profile. This is the non-child profile. So in here, of course, I can download any app that I want that's available on Amazon Underground. And one thing I want to say about that is that there are some limitations to that. You don't have the Google platform. There's no Google apps that you would normally get on an Android tablet. So this is Android based, but it's running Fire OS. So it's an Android tablet, but heavily skinned so that you can't even get the Google Play app on there. Now, you could probably sideload it. That's probably an option. Not something I'm going to do because, again, I bought this for my kids. So as we swipe in here, so these are recent apps, then we get into kind of like the home screen. And so if I hit home, it's going to bring me right back to this screen, which is nice. And then I do have recent apps. So you can see similar to what you would get on a typical Google tablet or Google phone. And then I have my back button as normal. So over here, if I swipe to the right, I'm going to get my books. So these are books that are already on there that I've purchased in the past. And then down here, some books that I can purchase. And again, a lot of these would be available in that free time for free that I wouldn't have to download separately. So then we'll swipe right again, get up to the top and swipe right. And again, videos. So these are videos that I've purchased in the past. Then down here, videos that are available on Prime for free. So again, if you're a Prime customer, this is a fantastic tablet. Otherwise, there's going to be a lot you're going to have to pay for. So that's a little bit of a frustration. So Prime, I would say go for it. If you're not a Prime customer, you might as well not even consider this tablet, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. So that all those Prime videos would be free. Again, my kids wouldn't even see half of this stuff because this wouldn't be age appropriate. And then I go over here to games. Again, there's a bunch of free ones because of the Amazon Underground. Things that you'd normally pay $1 or $2 on the Play Store might be free on here, which is really nice. Then we can shop. This is just the typical Amazon shopping. We have some apps. So these are the apps I have downloaded, and then it has a bunch of suggested apps. Some music. So we have our Music Unlimited. I'm not a subscriber to Music Unlimited. You have to pay for that. But then there's also some Prime Music that's available, again, for free if you're a Prime customer. So I could get that, but I can't get access to everything because I don't pay for that Amazon Music Unlimited. And then audiobooks. So I just have one downloaded there, but then I can go down here and download any audiobook that I might want. And then the newsstand. So that, I think, about covers everything. I do want to talk about a couple things that are great about it, a couple things that are not so good. So in terms of not so good, definitely the cameras. And the other thing I'll mention in terms of not so good would be the screen. We kind of already talked about that. It's not bad. If you're just watching Netflix or any video content, it's really not a terrible screen, but it's not going to blow you away either. So that's just something to keep in mind. And then again, probably my least favorite thing is you don't have access to any of the typical Google apps, which is a little bit of a frustration, but whatever, I bought it for my kids. They don't need access to any of those Google apps anyway, so it works out well for that purpose. What's great about it is, of course, if you're buying it for a kid, the fact that you can lock them out of so many things and you can really control the content that they're able to see, for me as a parent, is really nice. So I definitely give it 2 thumbs up for that purpose. So great for kids. Another thing is the battery life. I didn't talk about the battery life, and I don't even know what size battery this thing has, but the battery lasts forever. It takes forever to charge, so that's a negative. But the battery life on this is great. And that free time, if you're willing to pay that couple extra bucks a month for that free time, I just really think that this is awesome. Just because of all the content that they have available on here is pretty fantastic. So anyways, that's just kind of a quick look, not really a quick look, kind of a long look at the Amazon Kindle Fire HD 8. And I think it's a great tablet for kids, probably up through like teens. By that point, they're probably getting phones anyways, but if it's just for a kid who doesn't have a phone, a good option. And especially if you want to be able to limit the content that they're able to see, it's fantastic for that. But anyways, thanks for watching. I hope this has been helpful for you in some way. And as always, please subscribe to this channel. I hope that you can give this a thumbs up as well. And I will see you all in the next video. Peace.